Kristaps Porzingis is back, and I'm reminded of the fact that he is one of the best prospects I have watched basically ever. No hyperbole, at least in the top 30 or something. And he was a 7'3 unicorn defensive mover kind of before his time, honestly. Porzingis could slide down, flip his hips at 7'3, quick second jump. He doesn't take any time to get off the floor. There really is no load here, which really helped his rim protection. But I honestly cannot believe Porzingis went not number one. Cat was a good prospect, D'Lo was pretty solid, but none of these guys could touch the ceiling that Porzingis showcased. Again, switching out onto a guard, blocking that at the apex with his length. We're going to keep diving into this. I would love a like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Really, really helps out, and I appreciate all of you. But Porzingis, man, he another switch and he pins it from behind. Even when you got a little step on Porzingis, which you could, because he's still a 7'3 big, even for a mobile one. But he just has the length and the movement skill to recover and totally swat the hell out of you. Porzingis could move all over the floor. The ground coverage was really impressive, and again, we see him tracking this block from behind. Look where Porzingis starts this play, guarding a screen, working in pick and roll, closing out, getting back, and then he ends up swatting this ball after doubling because of how quick and long he is. Weak side corner rotation, basically blocks, almost catches that ball. But you can see the instincts as a weak side help rim protector. It's not just isolations. He can sniff out these plays, slide down when the ball is in the air, and be in great position to get up, block that with two hands off of it. It didn't even hit the ground. And Porzingis had very bendy arms, or bendy shoulders, really, where he could extend his arm out in a bunch of angles to block shots against Sergio Llull, I believe. Where Porzingis takes one big slide over, jumps, and extends the block, that scoop. That is absolutely nuts. This was an incredible play as well. Porzingis sniffing out this quick lob on an inbounds. And look where this should not be a block. Just looking at this position. Are you kidding me? That's absurd. Absurd quickness off the ground. All of that good stuff. Man, he was ridiculous. I mean, Porzingis wasn't a perfect defensive prospect, of course. The post defense was an issue for him, and that was an issue for a lot of his early career stuff too. A 7'3 teenager is gonna have some trouble, and Porzingis, did have trouble when you threw him through screens. These are crazy nitpicks, honestly, for talking defensive concern. It's oh yeah, the 7'3 unicorn shot blocker is only decent at screen navigation and only gets lost sometimes on the perimeter like that. I really don't have extreme negatives at all from Porzingis' defensive tape, aside from just adding strength and such, which is a generally pretty common thing. But even then, he showed some flashes of being able to guard around screens, which is just fucking crazy. You're 7'3 guy trailing around a screen, destroying that shot. And Porzingis, it surprised me how much of a perimeter, wing defender he played as at this stage. He really wasn't just playing center. Here he's playing as, the low man tagger. Reads this play again. Porzingis is in position before the ball arrives, knocks that away with his length. He was doing a lot of stuff like this, where he would cover ground, dig down for steals, and this is basically Porzingis defending the three, even though he's popping out, but we see him cut off this passing angle and ends up getting a dig steal with his great length, knocking that ball out of the ball handler's hands. And the length was just really disruptive, really active in passing lanes and taking away these easy opportunities, just swiping at the ball, making people think they could pass over him. And it's so fun to see how he's evolved as a defender. And even after, a lot of injuries, ACLs, a lot of the explosion has been zapped, we saw how crazy of a deterrent he is at the rim against the Celtics, where his size, height, mobility, length, they really couldn't do much at all. Luka starts this play getting Jalen on his hip, but Porzingis easily slides down and forces a really tough pass, and the Celtics are more than happy with allowing Josh Green to take little floaters like that, and then he ends up closing out. So Luka, his defense was truly game-changing in this game. Great contest here on Jaden Hardy. His size and length is so overwhelming. And even like a guy like Al Horford is really mobile and can stick and be strong. Porzingis is just hard to shoot over because of his size, and he doesn't maybe have the vertical leaping ability he once did. This block on Kyrie was just awesome. Look at him track backwards. He's still an upper echelon mover for 7 foot plus, being able to smoothly slide back. And even though Porzingis' athleticism has definitely been zapped a good bit just by injuries and aging, you can see how his sheer skill and size and fluidity has basically carried him to this point. This transition block was absurd. Getting back and swatting that shit without fouling, getting like in front of the shooter is totally nuts. And even the shots that the Mavs made over him, he was challenging and making them really difficult. Like Kleba has to totally contort in midair to even have a chance of getting this shot off, just because of Porzingis' presence as a rim deterrent and a threat. This was an incredible block in the fourth quarter, and maybe like my favorite defensive play he had, switching on and sliding with Kyrie, immediately reacting, just like a clip we saw early in the other video. I forgot this is 2 videos. But yeah, just an absurdly good play. Porzingis again forcing Luka into kind of I think Jalen fouls, but again, he's making life difficult. He's being a presence on the interior, which makes Luka think and makes the ball handlers make bad decisions and just kind of not be as confident. And Porzingis, I mean, his offense was obviously special. We're going to talk more about driving, but I just wanted to show this play first. Like, behind the back, kind of. Not behind the back, but holy shit. The fluidity, being the ball screen handler in pick and roll, using his agility to like get through that defender and just dunk on a poor soul. That is absolutely filthy. And Porzingis was a godly shooter at 7'3". I love this play where he's like relocating like a guard pretty much. He was such a fluid handler. Kind of got doubled, kicked out, reload back to 3, and that's an easy jumper for Porzingis. He is just a brilliant off-ball shooter with a quick, high-release, NBA range shooting, out the ass. And, like, he's unreal shooting off of movement. How many 7'3" guys are legit off-movement shooters? Very, very few, almost zero. And Porzingis, he could come off flare and exit screens, set his feet quickly, and release the ball high. And then he could take it off the dribble and create shots using his height and his handle and his footwork. It's all really, really remarkable shit. And it wasn't even like he's like a super raw prospect, like a lot of tall, athletic bigs. Like they can shoot and do nothing else. Like, no, Porzingis was a legitimately polished scoring creator who could use his size, handle, mobility on drives. Look at that back pivot there with his right foot. Fade away, looking like a guard in the middle of the floor there. It's absurd shit. He should not be able to do this like he does. Porzingis still loves these little like bump floaters. See, this is kind of Porzingis' thing, right? He just gets to a spot, uses something like his height or his strength to get a window, and he just shoots it over everyone because he's the tallest guy on the floor and he has the best touch of anyone on the floor. It is a pretty unstoppable checkmate type skill set. Now, if Porzingis had any major weakness as a prospect, it was his feel, probably on offense in terms of playmaking and stuff like that, where Porzingis just wouldn't like read defenders a lot of the time, would just kind of make bad, dumb turnovers. And he wasn't particularly smart with his passing reads either. Ends up drawing a charge here when he probably could have had this pass very easily. Just tended to like head down, run into guys at times. But I think, again, given his role as like a shot blocking center with like this kind of shooting and scoring, I don't think it was a huge deal. And there were some flashes where Porzingis here attacks off of the catch because, yes, they have to respect his closeout. And the driving stuff was really opened up by Kristaps' shot. Because defenses had to sell out to stop him, one little, look at the basket, and he has that's a fucking insane finish. Porzingis doesn't really even pump fake here. He just like kind of glances at the rim, and 14 knows he's a shooter. So Porzingis takes the top foot, beats him with burst. Again, maybe you could argue that that should have been a pass, but hangs in the air. Like, he was a fucking absurd athlete. This was comical. Porzingis is going to reject the screen here as the pick and roll ball handler and finish through contact. It's just like, he really was like Wemby-ish in a lot of ways before Wemby. Obviously not nearly as good of a prospect, but the same kind of ridiculous size, handling, movement, coordination stuff. And offensively, Porzingis has evolved so much in the league from kind of like an inefficient post-up scorer, ISO player, to a guy who kind of just catches the ball now and shoots over everyone. Ever since Washington, he's been so much better playing within the flow of the offense and being like a team guy. Porzingis can still dribble the hell out of the ball. Like, very few 7-footers in the league are this good at faking a dribble handoff, kind of using his eyes and burning a very quick center in Derek Lively off of the dribble. But Porzingis, ever since he got to Washington especially, has been such a more effective scorer just because of his willingness to just shoot over guys. It's like, I'm Porzingis, I'm just going to shoot over you. You're not going to stop me. I'm not going to mess with post moves or trying to back guys down or do stuff. Because that's when he got in trouble with his lack of kind of strength he never really developed. But now Porzingis is like, yeah, I'm just going to shoot over you. I'll make quick decisions. And as always, he is a disgusting trail three-point shooter. That is a hugely deadly thing. And he was really hitting some absurd shots. But this is what Porzingis has always done. He's unstoppable in this mid-range, anywhere mid-range extended above area because of that incredible touch, and he's so comfortable shooting through contests and these weird angles. Like, I don't really know what your plan is here, and of course Porzingis can take you off the dribble, as we saw. The fluid handling has never gone away, and Green bites hard at that pump fake. A lot of bigs aren't quick enough to take advantage of that, even if they can draw pump fakes, but no, Porzingis is able to get himself a wide open shot for him. I mean, there were defenders in the area, but that's as wide open as Porzingis needs. And the way he stretches the floor with range, it's an important thing for prospects who consistently like shoot from crazy deep, because it changes how defenses have to guard you, right? And Porzingis will one step into a 30-footer basically at any point. And man, he was feeling it. That must have felt good. Porzingis is just going to go against Luka here and does lose the ball. This is when, he gets in trouble, when he kind of takes more time, when he does the back guys down, uses strength or whatever, and Luka was able to get him there. And that's kind of always been one of the weaknesses. He's a much worse, like, interior type scorer than maybe you'd expect a guy of his height to be, but man, it's cool to see Porzingis doing this on the big stage, considering how amazing he was a prospect. Anyone at that draft will remember the Knicks fans booing him, which is hilarious. And yet Porzingis has developed into a true all-star plus level player, where I think it's easy to argue for him as like a top 20 guy in the league after what he did this season, injuries withstanding. And he showed this as a prospect. Nobody moves and runs like this at his height with his kind of skill and technique and instinct for shot blocking and playmaking, plus the versatile offense. This was like, it was really ridiculous. Like, he was a star kind of obviously, and I wasn't sure I expected that.